I did not receive that from Bill Jones or any of his partners. And anything that I get, I turn over to you as part of our work product for what's going to go into the file for us. And so we are really rebuilding the ship and rebuilding the relationship that we should have. In the informal meetings, I had discussed that there were times where we recognized that there were good old boy situations going on within Bell County that we wanted to right and we wanted to undo. But frankly, when we looked at the monies from last year, what we had to do when we came up with the budget last year, that allowed for the special assessment. And we were given guidance by our then manager what was, and an authority, what we should do and shouldn't do given that assessment. And so we are going to write some things that have been done poorly through process. And the process of holding this board meeting and working through it means we're looking at ourselves, at our finances, at our operations, the way we manage correspondence, the way we create places for people to interact, for us to provide information to the public, which Pioneer is doing. And we will fill every gap that we can. If you don't have access to the portal, we will help you get access to the portal. So as part of that transition, we were pushing really hard, and knowing that we set down times to come to have the meeting, to get in front of the public, to start and make sure that we understand this. Make sure that we understand this. Make sure that we understand how the state requires us to operate. And so, broken the relationship with the old manager, have a new manager, and we continue to progress.
And we will commit to keeping you on the straight and narrow, because I think that's part of our duty. And as we untie this back history, for example, the assessment and the purchase of these lots, the dealings with the developer on that. And again, I don't really know that history other than there was some dollar amount at one time that was conceived to be owed to the developer to buy these lots. That dollar amount is now down to, from what I am gathering, something less than $10,000.
Yeah, we're under about $9,000.
So wherever that all leads, if that money at some point is given to the developer, then he in turn will be responsible for releasing any debt or obligation on these properties, and those will be wholly owned by the association, right?
And we currently pay the taxes on it because we're like a renter. So we take care of it, and but that relationship is exactly.
So for better or for worse at this point, there is such a value to those properties that under no circumstances should we consider not holding on to that for $9,000. Even if we undo the past and go, whatever, we didn't do this right, we paid too much, it shouldn't have been handled this way. It would still be in the best interest of the HOA, from what I understand, to secure these lots and to make sure that there is no opportunity for the developer to say, you didn't make whatever payment you said you're going to, we're taking it back. So I think that, and I'm just projecting my evaluation of the situation. Is that, if everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll kind of, we'll clean up our own house in-house, but we're not gonna let that opportunity go. Okay. So that was just the point of clarification I wanted to make sure I had, because it's never really been said exactly that way, but that's what I'm hearing from both sides. As a real estate guy, I wouldn't want to let go of this opportunity if there's only $9,000. And if the developer never had a right to get that money, well then that could be an issue that has to be contested with the developer, right? Okay.
Which was in our hiring process so important that we receive an audit and find an organization that would provide us an audit and provide us feedback on the financials. And frankly, the reason that the financials aren't on the portal with it would be because we didn't have the complete financials. And the embarrassment isn't mine; it's the management company that they had before.
When are they
And
going out?
so we've been,
But we have September,
We have them.
we have year-to-date through September's done.
and,
It should be on the portal.
so there should be on the portal.
I'll
And
check.
so these problems that we've all tried to work through, knew that it would take time to get through. And we identify the problem and move on. Based on the discussion and based on an opportunity, as this is a board work, the next piece is where we were in delinquencies. To date, we had 21 delinquencies, totaling a number of $5,415. And those things range from a $25 fee to the full $485, which would be his entire assessment plus. What I'd like to do is I'd make a motion to suspend collection on the late fees. Now, do I have a second
Does that mean the special
for the
assessment?
special assessment? Late fees.
Late fees, but what about the actual assessment?
I have a second motion for that.
Sorry.
So does that mean that anyone,
This is work. I had to
Suspend late fees
on collection of the special assessment. Special assessment which was
Special assessment.
overdue. Out of the 21 delinquencies. So the second,
Well, all of those delinquencies up there are not
They're
for
not
the
the same.
special.
No.
They're right, there's a broad range.
this is for the special assessment.
It's just for the $160 special assessment,
Right.
those late fees. You are
Right.
suggesting that those be waived until, is there a
And there's a
time?
second part. There's a second part, so let's want to do that now.
Well,
Until, okay.
if you're
The
gonna make a
second part,
motion,
right, so the second part of that motion is until such time as we have a letter of authenticity about that after we, do some,
action.
we do some, not just with accent, we do some.
Cleanup.
Work with Pioneer to then revalidate or depose the assessment as a discussion for us and the lawyers.
So it's a two-part,
The first one is, right,
suspend the special assessment, late fees,
right,
until such time as we have validated financial.
right. No, validated the assessment, which we've been doing by billing. That was, billing, we believed it was a special, the special assessment was valid. The new management company picked it up as a valid and billed it as valid. We have membership that asks that it's not valid, and we will provide feedback based on our additional investigation of it.
And from what we can see, the majority of those special assessments that have been paid,
Right.
that money has actually gone to this.
Well, part of it, other things, right,
Yeah.
have gone to our business and to our operating.
So framed as that, I'll second.
We'll second. Okay. And we vote on it.
Right.
All members? Aye. All three of us.
Mhm.
So the board moves that we will suspend current,
Is that on the, you mentioned 160, my letter says 200.
Because it's an additional to the.
The 160 was a special assessment that was assessed due to the needs of the association, okay? The other $40 was a increase in the annual membership dues, okay, the association dues.
3 months
All right.
after the fact?
3 months
Correct,
after.
and then that, again, came back to the way it was handled by our previous management company. I was just as upset receiving a bill, okay, even though I knew with nothing in it. All it said was, you owe, okay?
But the
So
vote was
that
still held in
handled
executive session.
improperly by that management company.
it's a separate question, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
The
So,
difference between
There was a
160
differentiation, that's why
and
I
the
was
$40
increase in the
increase
annual.
that was that was retroactive to the first of the year. That was valid, in their state. We've talked about that, that is.
Both of them were done in
executive session.
It doesn't know, you can't do it after the
Okay, that's
I know,
where
that's what they
I
need to
made that motion. So the next is to look at, where we are. We have a framework of some, what we believe, the annual dues against 173 members. This is,
3 fees.
is that.
So you're waiving the smallest of the 3 fees?
What I understand is a late fee for the unpaid special assessment.
But you've also got default annual assessment, default annual fee, default, and then you default late fee.
If you haven't paid your annual dues, I don't think they've yet agreed to waive those.
Why is it listed in the demand letter?
But I don't think the board is agreeing to waive annual
Because the
dues.
demand letter covers the entire delinquency. And right now, we're discussing waiving a portion of that we've identified.
But we paid ours.
Based on what people have asked. And so we've thought about, and we are engaging and understanding that the $40 retroactive fee to change the fee structure from 185 to 225 has a basis within the state of Texas. We frankly could not operate what we understood it, and as we've gone back, looking at the monies that we have now, if the board looks at the number that we might be able to get.
So the
Assuming
$40
this is
fee
a
was,
discussion for us or for you, sir?
For all of us, it's our money. It's our money.
This is the board to talk right now. This is board's business, right? We did talk about that. Board's business. So we're gonna talk board business, and if there are questions about board items, we would like to be able to make it through that.
Okay, I would, like to have the cameras turned off.
This is an
Okay,
open meeting.
This is not
This is an
illegal.
open meeting.
I
Open
agree,
meeting.
but it is very
Open meeting.
uncomfortable having a phone
Where are you taking minutes?
in our face. We are taking minutes.
Where are you zooming it out to the rest of the membership that can be here?
Meeting, you do not have to Zoom someone taking minutes.
Yeah, I wanted the cameras because, yeah, why are we, we're taking minutes and if it's being zoomed out to the rest of the membership.
So the,
It's an open
we
meeting.
have,
This is exactly what I thought.
we have,
How long you can do it?
forum, go ahead.
Was your question answered?
he asked me not to ask.
Restate your question.
The question was, the $40 annual, we paid early at our house. And then we get notified that you're back billing us, that's what this is saying. And then you're gonna charge a $50 charge on top of that, when there wasn't really an explanation.
$50 charge is a late fee charge?
Morris, can I say something?
Demand letter.
Why isn't this being brought up to them instead of in this meeting? Because we're wasting our time.
We got,
Everybody's, I mean, we all have other things to do. And why can't we bring it up to them off?
We've tried. We've tried.
well.
We've been sending emails, phone calls. We've tried.
This is our time.
This is our meeting. This is our meeting. It's our money.
This is no.
Well, I guess help me understand. So when there's a board meeting, only you guys speak?
Well, during the operation of the board, there are two places for the public to discuss. And we've broken that here fundamentally by having a bigger discussion. For us to work through the things that we're talking about, we have a place in the beginning for non-agenda items. We have a place at the end for agenda items, things that we've talked about, things that need more discussion after we've gone through the work. And in the process of this, we've engaged the public here in this process. And that is a method of holding board meetings and other organizations. What we asked was set up a ground rules for what we're gonna do. In other organizations, in other places, the board does the work, and when there's questions left over, then we attempt to listen to it and answer it in turn. We will never get through it if this becomes that town hall meeting again. Okay, so we're trying to show you that we are looking at the problems. We're trying to show you that we're following the matters that have been given to us. In the two town halls, I said that this meeting was going to be different from the other, if you allow it to be. Because we're trying to hold to a certain set of parliamentary rules that we really haven't gotten into Robert's rules or getting schooled in civics on this. But for us to get through this, and for us to present the information, we need to think about the questions and come up with them at the 2 points in time that we're going to allot. And we can be civil about the questions and be able to answer them. I'm not trying to add to that. We just try to set that the organization of this meeting is set to have us have that discussion so that we can present these pieces. And we're not trying to hide anything. We're not trying to move about anything, but we're trying to actually answer as many questions as possible, given the amount of time that we've put into this and the amount of muck that we've uncovered. And we try to tell you, try to explain that to you.
Well, I won't say anything if I get 2 minutes with Paul after the meeting.
That's great. So
Okay,
we're
good.
hoping you do.
So let's go on.
And so, based on the round number of 170 members, we've looked at the finances. This is what we think that our bills will be through the next year. That given that we have no special assessment, no delinquencies, no, we're not figuring any of those things. Late fees, that's a number for our income, but that is not necessarily tied to the special assessment or the current delinquencies. That is an average number that came out of the 5 years prior to that. And so we're dealing with an annual dues amount, income of about $38,000, $39,000. If we have 10 homes sold at roughly over the year, and we collect $100 of the transfer fee, which is $150 for a transfer and it's $250 for a resale. If we only collect $100 out of those 10 sales, we'll add another $1,000 to our. So we have $1,000 transferred and $2,500 for resale, giving us a grand total of $42,500. Now, our management fee expense we've reduced significantly. We pay $925 a month for our management fee. We see no overt or new curious professional fees that come out of that. We project none at this time. And we also have no expectation of additional legal fees. Legal fees is always legal fees come if we have civil matters that need to be handled and require additional legal advice. Currently, we pay $50 a month in addition to our management fee for a total of $600 per year, and then we budget $1,000 for postage and mailing. Those notifications that you brought up, that said that what you're supposed to receive, the annual meeting, notice of an annual meeting that you should receive by mail, you will receive by mail because we've already established the proper methodology through the right management company. We identified several things that we were not doing through the old management company that put us all in iron, put us in a bad way. And to fix that takes work. We have set aside for our landscaping $8,000 and $3,500 for maintenance. And maintenance includes the replacement of light bulbs, includes the replacement of sprinkler heads and light fixtures. And the reminder is that we have 16 uplights.
18.
No, yes.
We have 16 streetlights, and we have, and go to the list here at the end, we have 16 streetlights, and then we have a litany of uplights, a number of which we've capped or turned off to save money. And when we look at property and bond insurance, that is up to date right now. We have essentially $5,000, $5,300.
No, it's $3,300 for the insurance
Right.
policies, $2,000 if we had to do any property claims, stuff, that would be for 2 claims.
Right. So when we had the second light, we paid for it out of our funds because we were absent
Property.
the property insurance. And the property insurance came about. At the end, paid for, we still paid $1,000 deductible for, we got $6,500 of that back for that. But that money then reinvested to help us pay for the additional requirements. Now, the Ansley payoff, we have, that 6,000 is what we see. We currently know that we have $9,454 owed, and we've not paid that since June. It was not paid since June. We were paying it monthly of the set amount, and to lift that burden off of us for the future will allow us to start putting that money back into. That was the other thing, so that the special assessment allowed us to put money into the banks and continue to give it away to debtors, the things that we owe debt to. We have a $300 property tax. Right now, we have really whittled our water and sewer down from, I'll say that this is a good news story, that we're down to about $840 on water and sewer. When we paid in excess of $5,000 one year, or the first year we paid the 2016, the meeting that of all meetings reported that we spent $5,000 on water. So now we've got that number through our own management, our own operation, and looking at it and being thoughtful with it. We've budgeted $840 for it, and that's with a 2% increase for inflation. And electric right now, that's about right, about $3,100 for electric. That given those lists of basic fees puts us at a total expense of $40,832. If our expected income for next year is $42,450, that gives us $1,618 left over. And that's being as judicious, thoughtful with our money as possible. Given what we, so for the board, have we stated $185, we would never make that requirement of $40,000. Not even close. We'd be several $1,000s short.
I would like to bring one thing in here that's not in here that the board should consider. There is nothing budgeted for the fee that it would potentially take to hold the annual meeting. Harris Community Center and all the other places here in the Belton area do have a charge, and in order to have an annual meeting with our membership, we need quite a large room. So I would like to propose that in the budget, we add at least $400 so that we could pay for a place to hold the annual meeting.
So $400, you're recommending a $400 line item
Yes.
for a location for the annual meeting.
And, future and or this year, that, those, something that the HOA can do that's fun, not just business, and budget for that within that 400. Maybe next year it's a little low and look at increasing it. So,
So you want us to add those to this?
I would,
So-
one line
The library for all of us, this is us working on the proposed budget. There's
Yes.
no way that we can possibly vote on the budget today. We don't have all the finances, we don't know all the details of what the next 2 months will hold. And when that comes through, we'll balance this model against what our line items will be.
yeah,
So-
but I do wanna add one for meeting venues,
Meeting venues, right?
yeah, and potentially if it allows some fun. No, that sounds wishy-washy, but
Community events.
something for our membership, for the membership.
We have, yeah. Any other thoughts, discussion on the
So
budget?
we postpone this then?
The only thing I was gonna say is that you have some outstanding balances, assuming that the 40, that was later billed is indeed a part of the annual due structure, and anybody who's not paid their dues, of course, whatever that is. So that's gonna give you, let's say, without the special assessment money, I don't know what that number is, a little under $5,000.
Oh, for this year, yeah.
Yeah, so, that money, I would hope, could be collected in the next couple of months, and then that money could go to start, or suggest it's go to start a reserve fund, right? Unless we find that there is, something out there that haven't been given by the prior management council, so that you have the balance between your revenues that are coming in, because you're not gonna be contributing any money out of this budget whatsoever to reserves.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
It is.
yeah,
This is
pennies
down
to-
the-
Right,
Mhm.
so again, with the,
The disclosure that you're making now is that through all the collection of all the financials, is that we have currently no record of an additional reserve that is ordinary with other HOAs. Is that correct?
that is correct. I mean, you do have some money in the bank right now, about $24,000, if I'm not mistaken,
Right.
which is not nothing, but it does put you in a position, you know, we've already seen 3 or 4 examples where things happen that you don't plan on, right?
Right.
And then it can't come out of your operating budget because there's no opportunity for that. It only can come out of your savings or your reserves. So we need to be thinking at least, certainly going forward of a plan to have some money allocated to reserves, because when issues come up that are unexpected, you don't have a third place to get the money from.
Right.
You've got to have some sort of cash reserve.
Right, and as we were working for it, and we would ask for it, we didn't know what it was, and we didn't have it. And,
Well, then
these discoveries that we had to include, what do you mean we don't have property insurance? We don't have physical property, we don't have insurance against, we got liability insurance, yeah.
Well,
We
then,
don't have physical
I
property.
would recommend that with the new budget, you know, when we get everything straightened out, that we add that line item. And if we can't fund anything this year, it is a line item on the budget so that it's not overlooked.
To pay into it.
Yeah,
So essentially, what typically happens in our communities is we fund to zero unless we have enough money coming in to put at least 10% of our gross revenues into reserves. So until you get the, you know, $4,000 a year number that can be done within your budget at this time, you haven't really kind of stepped up to what the norm is.
Right.
There's also lender requirements that can get in the way that are suggested lender requirements that are now become mandated that can affect people selling and buying their homes. So you just want to be mindful that you've got a reserve line item, and if you only contribute $1,000 this year to it, or $1,200 this year to it, let's just say, at least we have that on.
Well, we would be balanced at the very least with the current number of 225. I don't see us going beyond that and asking for that. But as we are more thoughtful and considerate through our management company of what bills we do pay, we would be able to earmark the ability to create a reserve fund. I do not see a reason for us, even at this time,
So then I would make a motion that we add those two items to our current budget, those two line items.
Okay, so the line item for annual meeting.
Venues and reserves.
It's unlawful for a non-for-profit business to have a reserve. Have you thought about this?
No, sir, that's not.
Who's collecting the
Well-
interest?
Well, first off, so we'll just defer to our associations, to our management.
Just to clarify, this is brought up, you are organized under 501c3 IRS laws, but you are not a charitable nonprofit. You are an HOA nonprofit, which is a special distinction in IRS, which means that dues and assessments don't have a taxable effect on the association. But if you do earn interest or have other egg sales or something like that, that revenue is considered non-exempt revenue, and you would be potentially subject to a tax of 30% on that revenue. It's not free money, but it's still money. So if you earn $150 this year on interest, well, actually this year you might actually earn more, then you could be subject to paying $50 to taxes, but you're still, the other 100 is still money in the bank. So you don't have enough money to worry about that, but you kind of get a sense of, you know, how this works. And just if you have any questions specifically about that, I'm happy to.
Okay, I've captured those two items. Annual meeting, reserve fund.
Okay. So we vote on adding that? All in favor?
Did you make a motion? Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
The board votes to add those two line items as items for us to budget for the new year. Those figures will come out for our annual meeting next year. Now, based on our, the next item was, make a motion to move our annual meetings to January's for not only to put it in line with a financial year, but to put it in line with a rhythm. Currently in the bylaws of June. It was being held in June, and every time we tried to do them with the old man, we couldn't get it to come off on that date. And so January, I'd like to make a motion to amend the bylaws to reflect that we will hold the new annual meeting and all the requirements that come with it annual meeting in the first month of the new year.
And is that doable as far as getting the numbers and having the annual report done to present at that association meeting?
Oh, sure. I was just looking at, and you probably have the answer to this, as to the protocol for modifying the bylaws. That requires a majority vote of the board.
Right.
So under that scenario, she is right with respect to how these annual cycles work. The way the law reads and the way the covenants read, it's annual meeting to annual meeting. The term annual is not legally defined as 12 months to the day from annual. So if your next annual meeting is in January and your previous meeting was in June of last year, it's still your next annual meeting. So it does qualify for that criteria. With respect to how the board terms and tenures work, I was just looking it up right now. But anyway, that notwithstanding, if you move the bylaw, if you change the bylaw into this meeting to January of every year, which would be probably 90% common, I would say, then everything rolls to January. Whatever might have happened in June rolls to June.
So, so putting it on an annual cycle that begins in January that coincides with our financial year, January, so we receive the financials at the same time that we do all of the major business for the HOA.
So we never had an annual in 2023.
That is my motion. The motion is that we move it from June to January.
I'll second that.
Board members in favor?
Aye.
Board moves to move the annual meeting annually to January. It will be held every year in January. And as part and parcel with that, the letters will go out to every, as required by law, that the letters will announce that we're having an annual meeting, and by what venue and where.
So just for your purposes, in the next few weeks, we will document that actual bylaws change. We'll get it properly executed, and we will abstract that so that your bylaws, when they're researched by somebody, will reflect it correctly. We'll get the secretary and notary to sign off on it, and it'll be approved.
Now, for the manner that we will hold elections, we will send out, we intend to do it via the portal, elect the data via the portal.
Yeah.
Based on a recommendation, what has pioneered, these representatives see work best with the most fidelity for elections, for both
But you can't over-notify, you only under-notify. So, you first always have to have snail mail, that is still in the statute. And you have other forms of notification, which of course we do email blasts, we'll post on the portal. People will be able to send proxies in by mail, by fax, or they can actually log onto the portal and just type it right in on the portal. They don't have to mail anything. They'll have those three options. You want to just continue to remind people the date. First, I'd like to say, pick the date as soon as you can. When they do a save the date notice.
Right.
And then we just backfill that with official information notice. The same thing is true with board nominations, etc. We want to send that information out in advance. We will send in their bios, their names, and nominations, so that ballots can be prepared. So all of that really gets in the high gear 30 days before the meeting, but preceding that, you want to at least give people a heads up. This is the day, date, and time, so they don't make plans possibly. And I don't know if you want to do, remote access, but we certainly are incorporating remote access to all of our meetings now, so that wherever people are in the world, including home, sick, and bed, they can attend the meeting if they want. So that just requires to have an internet connection wherever the meeting is held, so that we can provide login access for people to be able to participate in the meeting remotely.
It is absolutely our intention. Our intention is to break free initially on Zoom, hold ourselves accountable, and put ourselves in front of the membership and actually meet where we're not shutting you down, not letting you not speak on the computer. We would not say that we haven't sat here to not look at you and understand if you have issues or not issues. We have made ourselves available with that because we saw the failings in just Zoom meetings alone.
I do have a question though for Paul, if I may. Would the vote then be completed prior to the annual meeting then?
So if you are going to have both types of voting, then you can use on the same day voting for people who are present, but people who are online have to have submitted their prior to the start of the meeting, because we won't have we're developing that